Good day. This is EnPTinio, and January is Zero Waste Month. In the Philippines, it is the anniversary of RA 9003, or the Ecological Solid Waste Management Act. In light of this, I hope to outline influences of land use on solid waste management. First, as populations increase, more waste are generally produced. In the Philippines, these waste generation statistics are tracked by the DENR and SWMC and posted on their website. In waste generation, it is important to know what structures, what types of activities are present in your area so that you may model waste generation. As populations increase, more volume of waste is generally produced. It is also important to understand that number two, different activities generate different types of waste. Generally speaking, the more primary the economic sector, the more biodegradable or compostable the waste that is produced. As areas urbanize, it has been generally found that paper and plastic waste composition increase. And this is important because the composition of your waste would identify the strategies that you need to apply for your waste management system. It is important to know that different waste types require different waste management strategies. For example, compostables may be easier to manage than recyclables because of the um, relatively easier way of composting as opposed to managing or preventing plastics, preventing paper, and preventing other uses that are non-biodegradable or recyclable. Thirdly, in waste collection, road networks affect garbage collection routes. The waste sector is a very important contributor to the greenhouse gas emissions of the Philippines. And on a local context, it is critical to see that our road networks can affect how many collection trucks or even other forms of collection such as pedicabs or walking or centralized collection can contribute to the amount of environmental emissions or the greenhouse gas emissions that are released to the environment. Route optimization is also an important part of the 10-year solid waste management plan that I think is not yet included or is not yet a concern for many of our local government units in the Philippines. Dense areas are also less likely to compost because of space constraints. However, vertical gardening can enable composting in these dense communities. It is important to understand that 50% of our waste in the Philippines is generally compostable or biodegradable. And if we eliminate this from the waste collection requirement of our local government units, it will have savings not only in the collection but also in disposal costs, and also savings in other agriculture, and it can also be used for other uses such as urban gardening, which can contribute to food security. Land use can make waste diversion strategies or even generally good waste management behavior more convenient and more likely to be practiced. More accessible facilities were found to encourage participation in recycling. One study I remember is that a study of students living in dorms found that 25% there was a 25% increase in the recycling participation rate when accessibility was increased for these recycling facilities. And this is practical because we do not want to go the distance or go distances if we cannot, if we are to manage something that we treat as waste. Lastly, land use is influential in locating our waste disposal facilities. Other land uses should be compatible with waste disposal sites, and social acceptability, the acceptability, the acceptance of the neighborhood or community that will host the disposal site is also a criteria for land for landfill development or landfill siting. It is important to note that the not in my backyard mentality or phenomena can reduce the effectivity of our solid waste management but is practical for residential communities who do this. Would you like to be located near um, facilities that are dangerous to your health and your family? Disposal sites are frequently rejected by residential communities, and local government units should really incentivize communities that host these health uh, these facilities. In summary, it is important to understand that waste management is not just waste collection. We can influence it through our spatial arrangement, through our land use, and through knowing how these attributes of land use can really influence our waste generation, waste composition, and waste management systems and strategies.